Hi everyone, my name is Eric Young. I'm the IPG Program Coordinator. Today's date is March 7th, 2024, 2025. This video is for professional staff only, those who are interested or who is going to be continuing the field study program. We're going to be going over the general field study, just general program overall, very briefly. And then the second part, we'll go into specific details. And then everything beyond that will be more of a sequential in terms of chronological, like depending on each following the duration of the field study. So I'm going to screen share right now. There you go. Right now, what you should be seeing is the general ISEP main drive. All the things are created on the main drive, ISEP main drive, rather than our individual professional staff folder. Because of the fact that we lose access, we want to make sure we give access and keep everything on the file. Now, this is right now currently just the way our drive main drive is set up. It can be changed throughout the future, but right now, as of this moment, it is set up in a numerical way, so it's easier to locate and find. So it's under the program. So we have many different programs, as you know, with the different field study of the videos and tutorials we're going to be making. But generally, these are the programs we have. We have the field study right here. If you click on it, right now what you'll be seeing is just a general field study program and general field study materials. So right now we have this is the student one that student staff might have access to, but so we're going to be going over it together. So this is a general folder. We have with a lot of our campus partners. There's School of Social Ecology and School of Education. There are different schools that does different things. And there's email templates that they sent out as well as trackers there. So we can go over details on the second part video, which is not necessary, but we're going to be creating that later on. It's going to be, but yeah, but it's not necessary for the general. So uh, professional staff will have enough time to go over in detail, looking at those. The video, I mean, the folder here is a shortcut to the email template that we have for the field study. We're going to go over detail as well in the different video. In the following video, when the student reaches out to us, what are some of the email templates, the response that we use, and the process. This is the resource video. We're going to be going over detail in the other video regarding how to make videos, how to make templates and resources for the student staff who are joining us because they're working on a lot of materials. So we want to create these materials. So that video will be already available. Yeah, and then we're going to be going in detail as well in the other video. But these are not necessary for right now, where our professional staff can just take their time to look through each of these folders. But right now we're just going over. Yeah, so just looking at these are the current track of all the people who have interviewed with us, who reached out to us first, and in interview with us ever since I want to say 2000 for fall of 2024-2025 academic year. These are all the students who actually reach out to us and have been interviewed. So these are the intake requests. So obviously we only choose one or two, and now we recently going to be choosing three field study interns to join our team. But otherwise, we just interview a lot of students, and they have to meet a certain criteria in terms of the email, and then they get the opportunity to be interviewed, and then from then on, they get either accepted or denied. This is the going down the list. This is the professional staff document. We're going to be looking at that in a little later. But we're going to be this is also a shortcut because there's like a separate folder because student staff might have access to this. We don't really want everybody to have access to these folders. These are more behind the scenes and more some contract and everything. So I'm going to keep those with a need to know basis as well as sort of behind only certain access. These are the previous field study participant folders. Currently, as of right now, March 7, 2025, ever since I've been at ISCP, we've been keeping track of a lot of our field study interns. So we currently had one spring, Faith, and then two students in the fall of this academic year. And we're finishing up and wrapping up two field study interns in the winter. And then three new students are joining us in the spring. Yes. And then, yeah, so this is generally what it should look like. By the end of every academic year, what we do, we're going to be cleaning this out by the end of summer. And then we're going to be most likely moving into a different drive or folder because we no longer need to keep in track of the intake from then on. But yeah, right now, that's what it looks like. On the bottom here, this is a shortcut from our current field study meeting. I always keep it here so it's easy for me to find. And then the Google form. When students are interested in doing field study with us, they fill out an interest form so we can get to know them before we actually interview them, or even they even get any chance to interview. It's just like a general interest because a lot of students reaches out to us because we are at least with School of Social Ecology is a requirement to graduate. So we have a lot of students who reach out to us to do field study with us because some of the benefit of doing field study with us. And there's going to be a separate info session video recorded. But just to know, we get a lot of interest because of the fact that we are on campus uh, um, department and program. So a lot of students prefer to just do field study on campus where it's local, and we also very flexible with our hours. We also do a lot of different things and interests. We also make a lot of accommodation for our students with um, obviously with limitation and parameters, but we do make a lot of accommodation and flexibility, and we do a lot of different tasks. This is why a lot of students want to do field study with us, and we have a pretty well fleshed out field study program as of right now. So this is why. So we do have a lot of people who do interview, not too many, not on manageable level, at least not yet, but we do definitely have a lot of interest students. And during the spring quarter, so basically around winter quarter, a lot of people want to do reach out to us to do a spring quarter field study because a lot of seniors wait till their last minute to graduate, and it's a requirement to graduate. So a lot of students do wait. So spring quarter, we do get roughly anywhere between. Recently, we had for spring quarter, we had one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, nine students who interviewed. So we had more who requested, but they didn't meet certain criteria, so we didn't interview them. But we had nine students who actually we did interview, and each interview is about an hour. So we will go over that in detail later on. Okay, and so basically that's the intake. That is used with the interview questions. We're going to show you what that looks like. Now, that's the just general folder. Now, professional staff only. These are st documents that only professional staff who has access to it should have access to. Do not give this to any student staff. Only professional staff should have access to it. Not for any secret purposes, because we don't want them changing and accidentally copying any materials. So real quick, this is the interview question that we use. So what we normally do is there's instructions on here. So we go over in detail, but basically, if student reaches out to us, they meet our criteria and they get an interview and they meet do it during our interview. So what we do is to create an intake document and then we interview them with these interview questions. And it goes hand in hand. So we take the their response on the intake form digitally, so we can keep track of it. But basically, we just print this out. It's a, two sides, so it's double-sided page, and then you just ask some question, you pick and choose, and we sort of go over a general detail about our program, and we sort of gauge their gauge our potential participants in our program to see if they're really interested, if they're just looking for hours, or if they're if they're really fit and meet our values and our criteria to be a field study intern. So there's a lot to do it, and we go over detail this one as well. We created a document for staff only, so it's a general document with the field study process. We haven't finished it. It's just a document right now, but we are going to work on this. Hopefully, by the end of this academic year, we'll be done with it. So we're going to be having the whole process. So it's easy to see what I want in the future is that we are also able to share this with a lot of other campus departments and campus partners who don't have field study, so they can gauge what the field study program looks like so that they themselves don't have to start from scratch like I did. So we can just start there. Obviously, it's an intake template form, template materials that student staff will get before they start, they have access to. So this is the general document that we have. Without going into too much detail, this is just an internal document, obviously professional staff only, just general tasks and responsibilities that could be working on. Some of the main key factors that they need to be working on during the academic quarter. And obviously, every quarter we do certain things, and then some materials, and then rough timeline of the quarter. And just a general theme. And there's a thing called advanced field study. We haven't had any students participate with us yet, instead of doing it one quarter at a time, advanced field studies do it for the entire academic year. That is ideal, but we haven't had an opportunity to do that yet. So we haven't filled this out yet, but this will be filled out. And there's a lot of hyperlinks, a lot of materials, I know. So please take the time and make sure you do not share this with students and you keep it internal, and as well as make sure you take the time to go through all of it. Yeah. So these are some stuff, and video playlists will be here. All the video will be on YouTube. We are planning on creating instructional guides, but turning this video into an instructional guides in the future for those who are more of a reader who prefer to do that rather than watching a video. So a lot of resources are being created for this field study program because it is very important to keep up this great opportunity. One of the main reasons why, and I'm so sorry to cut off here, but we are one of the only, as of right now, we are one of the only field study program that highlights and specifies getting support for international students. So a lot of international students who are in School of Social Ecology, they prefer to do hours with us because of the fact that we support international students and we understand international students. Some field study opportunities require some sort of student social security number and ITIN, which a lot of internationals might not have or even have those sort of trackers. So with us, we make accommodations because we understand that because we are ISEP, International Students Excellence Program, we understand that. So we do highlight those. And because all the other factors I mentioned, which is students want to do field study with us. We are one of those places where students really thrive and really do work on things that they're interested in. And we do try to match what they're going to be working on in the future. We'll talk about that a little bit. Going down some of the resources, obviously we mentioned the template. This is a supplementary task sheet. This was created because sometimes our field study program is actually, as of this moment, our field study interns are also helping us develop and mature our field study program. It's kind of interesting, where our field study interns are sort of helping us create resources for future field study interns. It's because when I came in, there really wasn't too many resources around it. The ICP had field study interns, but their tasks were very modeled and it was kind of confusing. So when I came in, I sort of streamlined everything and had a very clear process and clear formats, procedures, policies, instructions, and what they could be working on. Because I think it's a great opportunity, like I mentioned, and I think field study opportunity is such an amazing way to grow our program without having the restriction of having to increase the budget, increase all this stuff. So it is a lot of work for professional staff, which is why using this will help mitigate that concern. So supplementary will be adding on like more than just what was tasked here. So generally they're working on certain events. So as you can see, just give an example for spring, we have upcoming Global Olympics International Alumni Panel and ICP Banquet, or the also known as end of the year banquet or gala. Uh, and then they also work on this testimonials, FSSP, Freshman Summer Success Program, international promotion materials. In terms of programming, they help with interview sessions for next academic year's student staff, so they sort of help part of the interview, and they're helping us create like senior bucket lists, and these are just some and updating it. So these are just some general materials that they can be working on. We don't want students to just sit idle and just twiddling their thumb and waiting, just clocking in, clocking out. We really want them to work on something that is so important and so valuable for the entire international student population program and resources. So, but on top of everything else, they are going to be working on a lot of other things that comes up right at the bat. So we also have them write it on here, and we sort of want to make it done. So some of these might occur is like last quarter, well, at least this quarter, the winter quarter, because it's not over yet. During winter quarter, I had my field study interns help me create a contract for field study interns. So we wanted to all of our professional, all of our student staff has fill out a contract when they want to join our team, just to set good precedent and standard and professionalism. But our field study doesn't have that contract, so I had them create it. They started it, we haven't finished, so they're gonna be putting it on here. They're like, hey, creating a contract for field study program so that when students come in, they decide to join, they fill a contract, we know what they're expecting, and so we can hold them to a higher standard. So those are some things that that can go on here potentially. These are just professional, not just small things here and there, not just general events, but things like we have a program and resource called we don't know the exact title for it yet, but like basically it's like passport replacement support where or something. Basically, if a student were to lose their passport, we can find the closest consulate near UCI, and we can on that column it's like a Google sheet. We update it regularly, and on there it shows you like if they're from um, uh, what's a country? South Africa. So if a student reach out to, hey, I lost my password, I'm freaking out, I'm so scared. Some students might reach out to us because they're confused. Um, they could just Google it themselves, but we also want to be like, hey, don't worry. If they reach out to us, we can find it. Like, what is your country of origin? South Africa, blah, blah, blah. Type in South Africa, Control F, and we can find South Africa, the closest consulate, the location, what to bring, what is the process like, how much it costs, how to make an appointment. All of these things are laid out so that they sort of, you know, it's sort of easy to, yes, they can do it all on their own, but we also want to make sure we have access. And it's a great resource for students, field study interns to really put on their resume. And it's also a great resource to have. So those are some things that they will put on here. Like those are some big projects that, we finish. Yeah, so those are some materials that we go over. Yeah, so these are we're going to be going over the rubrics for the emails in a little bit. But then this is the contract that the student worked on a little bit. We're going to be updating and changing. We're actually going to be changing this currently into this is as professional staff, but obviously I'm going to change it to ISEP Field Study Internship, not an offer, but contract. And then we're gonna be turning this into a DocuSign, so just keep it digitally. It's just for our sake. So our field study intern started on it, they haven't finished it, so we're gonna be finishing this contract. And you're turning next quarter in the spring, they're gonna be working on it. So they could put on their resume. Well, like during my field study, I'll create a contract, professional contract. It looks good on their resume, so I thought about what I want what the field study interns would want to put on their resume. So we created out of that as well. So it's both our needs as well as what looks good on their resume. Because a lot of field study interns, of course, they're giving us their time voluntarily for obviously they're not getting paid financially, and this is the only way to compensate is to give them as much professional development and support for their future career. Okay. All right, that's pretty much it for this video. I'm gonna stop sharing now. But yeah, this is currently what we have so far. Our resources are growing for our field study program, ISB field study program, and we'll love to share these resources and opportunities with other campus partners. But as of right now, we're keeping this in-house, and everything we create will be available. But again, there's two different folders. One is where we can give access to student staff, but the other one is only strictly ICP field study. Sorry, ICP professional staff only, because of the fact that like we don't want changing anything, and there's some behind the scene information and resources. Uh, so yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you for watching. Tune in for the next video, a different video. So there's going to be a series of videos. But again, the next video, which is I believe 1B titled, step 1B. That one is not necessary to watch to learn the general process. It's just to go into detail, like explaining each specific document. But that one is not necessary to run the program. It's just to like provide guidance.